Hey guys, so thanks everyone for joining here today. Good to see that it attracted so many people. The, um, the Q4 retro, where we are going to discuss what has been done on Q4, what we've been doing on Q1 2025, and what we are going to do in the future. All right, so as usual, the presentation will be divided in two parts. We'll have the first one where we'll present what happened, what's going to happen, and we're going to give news of anything related to Request Network for everyone to be aware. And later on, we are going to be on the second part answering questions that you sent. And like if you send questions to the chat, we'll also answer them. So let's start with as usual, let's start with the mission and vision. Our mission is to enable the growth of a financial system built on open source, decentralized blockchain infrastructure. We at Request Network believe that the future of finance can be more efficient on top of the blockchain. It seems like the real world is now starting to agree with this. And it is our mission to build tools that support and establish that transition. Our visions for the ones that don't know it yet, it's to create a network, a financial, an open financial database, where on the left side you can see here the invoicing payment apps, the ones that create the data on that database, and on the right side you have like the applications that kind of use that data to provide different services, all attached to the user wallet. So it's based on immutability and ownership of your data, as Web3 should. Something that's changing and some updates we want to give is how we want to achieve that vision. For a long time, we've been trying to create a network, which is very difficult. And I'm adding here this slide where you can see like the tipping point and the cold start problem of creating networks. Creating a network is hard, very hard at the beginning and very well protected at the end. But being the beginning very hard, you can imagine like if you go to a social media and you don't have anyone else there, you'll be getting out of there pretty quick. So in order to kind of mitigate that problem that will take Request Network into the tipping point, we are changing a little bit the strategy into creating a great tool. So people come from the tool and then they stay for the network when they see the great capabilities of that the Request Network as a shared financial database can have. If you start using Request Network on one app, you'll be able to see all the financial transactions and the details, the invoices, receipts of those transactions in all the other apps. Moving on to the achievements so far, what we've been doing. Following this idea of wanting to create something more like a tool that brings a lot of value, that's very easy to use, we've launched the RN API. It's already live with the basic functionality. You can create invoices, pay invoices, send direct payments, but the great thing that it brings is that right now with it, Request Network is very easy to use and very easy to integrate. So we can get to a lot more people than what we could with the previous SDK. So why don't I just show you really quick what that looks like. So here, this is the portal app. You can come here, create an account and get API keys. I'm just sharing here. This one is a test one. If you go now to our documentation, you can see that it changed a lot. all the advanced functionality is now here, even in the advanced tab. We are giving a lot of space to the API here, so it's the first thing that people see. And right now, the time that you need to have your first victory on the docs, like the time to create your first request, it's really fast. You can come here, you just paste here your API key, and you can see like a good example of what do you need to create a normal request. You hit send, and there you go. You've already created your first request without any blockers or any development needed. You can see everything pretty much here. We also worked on this Open API definition with Scalar. You can come here. You have all the functionality of the API with like well documented with descriptions, everything. You can come here and you can, for example, if I want to retrieve the call data to pay the request that I was showcasing, you can just come here. I'll pass the payment reference that I got from the documentation, that creating the request on the documentation, and I need the API again, the key. You pass it here, you hit send, and there you go. Then all the application needs to do is to pass this data to the wallet provider to trigger the transaction. So right now, I think that the biggest advance so far in the last couple of months was like, let's make request network super easy to use. And this is what it looks like. In addition to this, you can test like the experience on Easy Invoice, which is an application that resembles a lot like Web2 experience. It's very smooth. You can log in with Google. You can create requests without having to even connect your wallet. Let's give here an example. Let's say Alex needs to pay me something. You can add notes for what you want. Currently, we support the testnets because this is not supposed to be something that you use. This is something that we showcase to companies that want to integrate request network. We are not really interested in serving like the end user. We are interested in integrating request network into as many companies as possible. So let's say you keep the invoice in currency as US dollar, but if you choose a token, it automatically assumes that you pay in that token. So if you use US dollar, you can just choose the currency. Then here, you pick the wallet where you want to receive the funds, and you need a due date for your invoice. You create it. Very simple, you can see it here. Then this is the payment page. You can just copy the link and send it to whoever is gonna pay. And only on the payment page that you need to connect your wallet and execute the payment. All right. So with this, we've the payment is done. We also added like other basic functionality here for showcase purposes. I can try one just to show you. This is like a direct payment, like the one you do in your wallet. This is the base that will serve for us to add like batch payments here, recurring payments. And you have the invoice me link. You can add a link here. if you share this with someone else, it will automatically have here my your information that you can expand. I just used the most basic one. And yeah,
So
that's
basically,
pretty
Francisco,
much.
you and Mariana, in the past couple of months, you've used Easy Invoice as a way to showcase our technology. So this
Yes,
is
exactly. Yeah.
Easy Invoice is a
Yeah,
culmination,
this is
is a
kind of
showcase of, yeah.
yeah, this is just a front end for the API so that people can quickly kind of see how to connect. Like if the API being as simple as possible is not enough, they can even come here and kind of see how this application works and copy whatever code they want, see how the connections are done, all that. All right. Moving back to here, another thing that we achieved, and this was still in Q4, was to have the encryption on the user side. Most of the applications built on Request Network had to manage the keys on behalf of their users. We now created a way to have it to have the user manage their own encryption keys on their side, and we are working to improve on that to actually achieve a network that's kind of fully immutable and where the users can actually own all their financial data. Next up on the roadmap, we have some interesting stuff. So right now, our main goal was to make Request Network very easy to use with the basic functionality that's like mandatory for any kind of invoicing, payments, like the basic functionality. From now on is to increase its value and kind of make it add all the top of the art latest tech for payments into the application and kind of make it be like a super app that everyone can use very easily, and that has all the new functionality that Web3 brings compared to the traditional finance. And that includes, as a first step in our roadmap, cross chains and swap payment rails. So paying from any chain that you want, kind of if you want to picture the paying experience as like you connect your wallet and kind of the application will read the assets that you have, it will propose you like the best route for you to pay that invoice with according to the assets that you already have. And then we handle everything on the background, like swapping, bridging, to make sure that the person that created the invoices receives the currency that he stated that he wants to receive on that invoice. Also on the roadmap, recurring and batch payments. This is something that's been crypto has been trying to do recurring for a while. There are some new ways to do it. We want to add it to the batch, to the API, and we'll be adding also batch payments that are always useful. And now I pass here the word to Mariana to talk about BD.
Hey guys. So for the past quarter, we attended DEF CON, which was quite successful. We were able to find established companies already that would like to integrate requests into their services. So companies, I'm talking about companies that already have users and can create a significant number of transactions. And also we also had, as you know, an online hackathon that also went really well. And so this all contributed to us having a lot of meetings in the past quarter. So 57 in total number of meetings that we had, and the total number of companies that were creating transactions on mainnet, there were 7 of them. So these were the stats for for the past quarter, based on the online hackathon and the DEF CON event that we attended.
And I just want to add that there were a lot of spam meetings as well, people that don't show up and stuff like that, and that we didn't count them, obviously.
Let me correct that, Stefan. Sorry, Alex. That happened particularly during this first quarter. Yes, we had a lot of those. We did an experiment or a campaign with another builder, and so therefore there were a lot of meetings that were spam in my calendar. But the past quarter, that didn't happen, fortunately. So these 57, they were actual meetings that happened with different companies. So it was a very busy quarter. Can you move to the next slide, Francisco? Thank you. And the new ecosystem projects that we had, that are part now that we consider builders, not just builders, but also clients. Animal Social Club is one of the companies that Veracode Network is creating, and they launched on mainnet actually last month, but they've been building with us since the past quarter. Animal Social Club, they host fundraising projects, and every time that they need a donation, they use a request for that. And A Lot of Finance is a business app that was actually created by a previous employee of Request Network a couple of years ago. He worked with us, and he's building a business app a business app that tracks the hours that the employees have worked and pays them and creates invoices. And HyperSQRL is a grantee from someone who created a HyperSQRL, is also someone that worked with us in the past, a successful company. I'm sorry, a successful person that created HyperSQRL. He's basically, the company is about automating invoices. He uses an AI in the background that can read emails or listen to conversations, and then automates the creation of invoices and payouts, basically. So we welcome Animal Social Club, A Lot of Finance, and HyperSQRL to our ecosystem. Thanks.
Thank you, Mariana. And now, let's get on with the the token news. Everybody's waiting for this, right? Here we go. The long-awaited update.
That's why everyone joined.
So, everybody, you've heard us bang the drum of builder community, right? The token itself needs to be more aligned with our vision, needs to be more aligned with the ecosystem that we are building here, that we are creating. We have stated from the beginning that the goal is to attract more builders into our tiny community, and we believe that a good approach in doing so is by incentivizing contributions, strengthening engagement. Big words, I know. But what we came up with is quite simple, though, despite the big words. The first initiative is called the Best Pull Request. It aims to drive quality contributions to our GitHub repos. So this is aimed directly at developers, or actually anybody who knows what a pull request is and wants to maybe fix a typo somewhere on our documents. We are an open source project in the end, and we should push towards more contributions from the wider community. We should tell more people about the open source value, and I'm sure that there are still people who believe in this. Our expectation in the long term is that contributors will focus on impactful changes that align with the roadmap. That's a long-term vision. Obviously, you can, like I said, just go and fix the typo and we would still be happy. The second initiative, called the Best Ecosystem Project, is a complementary effort designed to recognize and reward the top ecosystem players that drive our mission of enabling the growth of a financial ecosystem built on open source decentralized infrastructure. So these are the two initiatives we came up with, and let's do a little deep dive into them. If you could switch the slide, Francisco, please. Thank you. The Best PR initiative has the following objectives that we identified. First is to recognize and reward valuable contributions to our GitHub repositories. The second is to attract more contributors and more open source believers. And third but not least, to showcase our developer-friendly environment, like all the documentation updates, all these developer experience updates. They're not for nothing. right? We are aiming to be as developer friendly as possible. So when we're saying that you can integrate our solution in 3 minutes, well, that means somebody on my technical level should be able to also do it in 3 minutes. The best pull request initiative will kick off next quarter, though. To kick it off, obviously, we need you to judge on some of them, but at the moment, we only have contributions from maybe two people outside of Request Network and Request Finance, obviously. So once we announce it and what's happening, we hope that more of you will contribute. So we will have more PRs to give you to vote on. So this means we announcing it now means that you have a solid couple of months to take a look at our roadmap and contribute. Of course, you can contribute based on vibes or whatever gets you going. So once again, Q1 for lunch and awareness, and Q2 for the actual contribution period in which you will qualify for the PR initiative. What do you get out of it? What's the execution? What are the rewards? Next slide, please. A list of merged past submissions will be provided at the end of the quarter, at the end of the next quarter. Careful, merged, okay? That means only submissions that have passed review. Voting takes place on the Request Network Discord server. We're not doing it on Snapshot for now. We're gonna go the very simple way, a beginner-friendly way, a cost-effective way as well, even with the low gas on mainnet right now. Super simple, super beginner friendly. Anybody can have a word to say as long as they hold 1,000 REC tokens. Moreover, to make it, attractive, there is a reward which is $500 to be paid in REC tokens. And moreover, we are adding automated messages to GitHub to guide contributors to the process. We will hold your hand and we will remind you that you need to follow the guidelines of contributing to the repos, and then we will thank you for your contribution. On-chain voting, like I said, with Snapshot or Tally will be considered in the near future. But for now, let's start small. Let's see how this goes, and if everything goes all right, obviously we will iterate and we will grow it and scale it. For the Best Ecosystem Project Initiative, we have 3 objectives as well. The first is to recognize the top projects, recognize the hard work that the top projects put in. Second is to drive community engagement. We want you to follow the projects as well. We want you to know what they're doing. We want you to know what they're up to. And obviously, we are winning because the projects get feedback, but you can also win because some of these projects have airdrops. Just saying. And for but not least, we want to retain ecosystem players. So aside from the developer-friendly environment, we also want to keep the ecosystem players. We want to keep the projects near to us. So I don't want to see them going to another infrastructure company simply because we're lacking something. The community can help us find what we're lacking. The community can help these projects feel valuable. So together we can retain, we can drive, and we can recognize. The Best Ecosystem Project Initiative will kick off this quarter. We'll include projects who have integrated with us in the respective quarter. So we're not gonna, make you vote on projects that have integrated 2 years ago and maybe have done nothing. And yes, the main criteria for this is just a successful integration. You don't need to have 100 transactions, 1,000 transactions, or anything like that. You have to have a successful integration with Request Network to be considered for the Best Project Initiative. Execution and rewards of this initiative, well, mostly like the other one, we will vote on Discord. We will need 1,000 REC tokens to participate in this. And the reward this time is $1,000, a little bit more, since we're talking a project, not an individual. It could be multiple people, it could be a team. And yeah, maybe it's not a big amount, but we'll talk about it very, very soon. We will give you the list at the end of the quarter. So it's mostly gonna be, it's gonna be only projects that are announced. And we will have a couple of announcements until the end of the month that you will, I hope, enjoy. The money, I just said that it might not be, a lot of money for you trench dwellers or casino gamblers, players. However, next slide, please. Flames. What are the flames about? Is it a burn? Right now, we're going to pay for these 2 initiatives out of the treasury, right? But here's our long-term vision. Our long-term vision is based on a transaction increase across all current and future ecosystem projects. And that means obviously more transactions, more burn, more money, a better price of the token, even more money. So the burn mechanism if we manage to get to a certain amount, yeah, can be transformed into a funding mechanism for community and ecosystem contributions. We're not, so just to be clear, we're not removing the MER mechanism. We're not removing the deflationary aspect. We're tweaking it so that instead of just throwing away money, we can also contribute effort. We can contribute any kind of, so we can reward contributions, sorry, and we can reward effort. So we can reward the community of builders and the community of token holders, of course. We will monitor the numbers together and figure out a balance between funding and rewarding and the token sent to the dead address. So again, we're not removing it at all, but we want to use this as a mechanism to fund more initiatives, do more. Okay? I hope this is clear. If not, obviously, I'm gonna wait for the questions after this, and we'll answer them in general chat and so on. So we will move to the Q&A section of the presentation. I hope that you enjoy the token updates. And again, like mentioned, this is just a start. It's a tiny start, but it's a start. And like I learned in game development, you never start building the next Grand Theft Auto. You start by building a Mario game, okay? And from there, you start building your GTA. So, question one. Can you tell us more about the current grant process? How many companies are building on request network at the moment? Okay, it's request network, not request. What the current strategy is to attract more grantees, and if you feel like the current strategy is working. The grant process itself has not changed. It's the same. The only thing that changes is the amount that we are giving out. Right now, we are giving out $10,000 per grantee. We're not gonna give more unless it's something that's completely gonna blow our minds. We don't have an exact number of companies using our infrastructure since anybody can freely use the protocol. Like I said, we fully open source, anybody can use it, and we would have no idea where these transactions are coming from. We do know of companies that have their builder ID, and we do know of the following companies that have had transactions in the past months. So we have obviously Request Finance, we have Huma Finance, we have Joba Network, we have BSOS, we have Paytree, congrats PG, and yet unannounced builder, all in due time. The grant was and is a way to support small builders, but our long-term strategy does not rely on it. We are not relying on the grant for a long-term or for building a network or an ecosystem. Our wish is for businesses and professionals, finance professionals, to come to us because of things like a reliable infrastructure, simple and fast UX, easy to integrate, one-click actions, efficient, less effort in setting up. So all things that are not requiring a grant. Question two. With the USA planning on becoming the crypto capital of the world and hosting several crypto events, do you all have plans to send your sales reps to the USA to make connections and feature products to the American businesses and governments, especially Doge? We don't have any sales reps per se. We have Mariana, our business developer. We have Alex, who's a marketing specialist, right? And together they know all about funnels, right? We're all helping here. We're all, you know, rowing on the BD boat. However, none of us, not even David, have such strong US connections that would allow us to pitch in front of the government, even state government, not even federal level. So if anybody listening is able to help us, get us a meeting, get us an intro, absolutely, yeah, reach out to us. We are ready to demo in front of anybody, anywhere, anytime. Next question. Are there any plans to explore relationships with new market makers? Not at the moment. I'm curious to what prompted this question. I would love for anybody who asked this question to perhaps continue in general or any other channel that you'd like, private or public. Question 4. With the popularity of lowercase XRP increasing, it being used in US reserves and speculation of future institutional adoption, do you need to make adjustments to your products if it takes off for payments instead of Ethereum and other blockchains Request is already compatible with? If a business wants to use our infrastructure, comes to us, and they're on another chain, we don't support, we will absolutely deploy the next day or put high priority. If you have clients and if we can make transactions, we will do it. We will put high priority on it, and we will do it as soon as possible. Highest priority, obviously. We do start as an EVM project, but in the end, we'll go where the business happens, right? Question 5. Is there a plan to address the current friction with burning REC? Very nicely put, thank you. Yes, we are working on a solution for the liquidity pools on mainnet. The current plan is to supply liquidity ourselves and move away from the DAI pairing, most likely to USDS. Once that happens, we can burn the outstanding amount without having any worries about low liquidity shenanigans. You know what I mean. and maybe some not well-intended MEV bots. Let's see next questions. Question 6. What is the status of request scan? When will stats be up to date and accurate? Very good question. I love this question. We're going to fix it soon. And soon is actually soon if you've noticed how fast we're actually working on things development-wise. It's just not a higher priority right now, okay? So what I can say is that request scan is a public repo. Anybody can contribute, anybody can fix, anybody can work on it. And thanks to the token initiatives, you can now get rewarded for it. Question 7. We love the API. How has it been used so far, and what are the plans for extending it in the future? Has the release of the API garnered interest from any recognizable names and brands? We just released it last week. Having just released it, there isn't much we can tell you about who is using it and how. We haven't even finished the marketing campaign, the posts and the ads and everything. The API is right now being demoed by Francisco and by Mariana through Easy Invoice, like we just saw a couple of minutes ago. Which, if you didn't check out, please go and check out Easy Invoice. It's a very good implementation of the API, and you can see exactly what's being demoed to companies. And basically, everything that we have planned about the API is public. It's on GitHub. We're not working in the shadows. Everything is fully public on GitHub. You don't have to be a developer to know how to use GitHub. Everything is our roadmap is nicely laid out there. You can filter by priority, you can filter by impact, you can filter by many things. If you know how to work columns and rows, that's about it. Question 8. Which enhancements would the team like to see on a protocol level? Like new smart contracts? Well, obviously. Go for it if you can. If you want to write new smart contracts, whoever asked this, go for it. We would love to see any kind of contributions. Even like I said, even small typo fixes. If I don't think there are any typos. But just to be clear, if you see one, you want to contribute, you submit a pull request for the small typo. It gets approved, it gets merged, and then you get into the best PR initiative, even for a small typo. We're not expecting people to change our smart contracts and deploy on Solana, if anybody's thinking about that, for example. Literally any contribution would make us happy, and sorry for being a nag, get someone a nice reward. Last questions here. Question 9, where are the increased transactions coming from? One of our collaborators, Lit Protocol, they're the masters of encrypted requests. You may have heard of them from other projects as well. They are running a quest on Galaxy. Galaxy is one of those quest platforms where you accumulate points. And one of the tasks is to create an encrypted invoice using our invoicing template. So that's where the increase is coming from, is people that are questing. Wink, wink. You're all hopefully familiar with such quest platforms and then know what's next. So if you haven't done so already, go do the quest, and the future is bright or lit. Question 10. Does the amount of REC staked verified right now affect future airdrops? Will there be any perks for those who verify holdings early? These were 2 questions. I put them in one, just to be clear. There are no airdrops. There are no planned benefits for being early. That being said, things can change tomorrow. We'll require people to hold 1,000 tokens only during the quarterly voting process. We do check, though, if you have them before and after voting. And if anyone is worried about missing, staking earnings or anything like that, again, we'll only require you to have these tokens when you want to vote, when you want to participate in governance. Last question, and the one that lots of people have been eagerly expecting. In what capacity are PricewaterhouseCoopers and Deloitte using Request? Well, as I hope that you have imagined already, they're using our infrastructure for invoicing and payroll like many other companies. Like, what does it say on our website? Over 2,500 companies? Yes. These two are just two of them. Can be so many. With the API coming out and with some demos, we are excited about the future. So I think the next slide is for you, Francisco.
Okay, I wasn't aware of this. The team is changing a little bit. We are adding a new developer in the next couple of weeks. I don't want to add much there. It should be fast enough. And yeah, that's the end. Thanks everyone for attending. And if you have any questions, please.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody. And yep, have a good day. Until next time. Bye bye.